Hello, my name is Joe Hoyle, and I'm talking to you today from the University of Richmond. And my guess is that you are doing question and answers part 2 for chapter 9 on inventory, and you've come down to a periodic FIFO and then a periodic LIFO question. And these questions just seem to be so complicated that it was very difficult for me to write out a real good answer, so I thought I'd make a video to work you through these problems. They're not terribly difficult, but I think a video will show them better. So here's the question you probably have seen. A company starts the year with 100 units of inventory costing $9 each. That's $900. And then 700 units are bought for $11 each. That's $7,700. And then finally another 200 units are bought for $14 each, $2,800. Nothing unusual at all about that. At the end of the year, they go out and take a physical count and get 210 units still being held. If the company is using a periodic FIFO, and remember, periodic does not keep up with the inventory cost of goods sold until the end of the year, and then they're using FIFO, what is reported as ending inventory and then what is determined as cost of goods sold? And then I have the same question for periodic LIFO. We might as well do both of them at the same time. So here's the setup for a periodic system. You have a beginning inventory of 100 units that cost $9 each or $900. Where did that come from? Well, it came from last year's balance sheet or probably from a T account, something like that. And then during the year, chronologically, they bought $711 for $7,700 and $200 at $14 for $2,800. So they bought $10,500, which gave them a total goods available for sale for $11,400. No matter what system they're using, that's the basic setup. You then are going to subtract out the ending inventory, and they have done a physical count, and there's 210 units. And right there is the biggest part of this problem. What did those 210 units cost? And the answer is we don't know. And since we don't know, we're going to make an assumption. So the assumption is going to be buried right there for those 210 units. What do we assume they cost? If this is a FIFO system, then what we do is we assume that the first ones go to cost of goods sold, and then as you get further along, the last ones are still in ending inventory. The first ones are gone, the last ones are still in ending inventory. So what you want to know is which ones do we assume, if you're using FIFO, are in ending inventory. The very last units you can see here are 200 at $14 a piece, and so we make the assumption that those 200 are in ending inventory at $14 a piece. But that's not enough. There's not 200 units in ending inventory, there's 210 units. So since we've taken 200 from this group, we go up one step further and take the other 10 from the next newest group at $11 a piece. So your assumption is under periodic FIFO, and this is just an assumption, that 200 came from the last group, $14 a piece, and then 10 came from the next group. So the beginning ones are gone. As you get further along, the last ones are still here. If you do the math, 200 at 14, 10 at 11, that's $2,910. That's what you report on your balance sheet as your ending inventory. You subtract the $2,910 from the $11,400, and you have a cost of goods sold of $8,490. That's that problem as I would have done it if I was using a periodic FIFO system. Now I go right back to the basics. Same problem. Beginning inventory, purchases, goods available for sale, ending inventory 210. What do those cost? Again, we do not know. So we're going to make an assumption, and this time that assumption is that we're going to assume that we're using LIFO, and LIFO takes the reverse approach. It assumes that the last units are gone, and then as you get closer to the beginning, those units are still there. That's an odd assumption, to tell you the truth, that the last ones are gone and the first ones are still there, which is one of the reasons that a lot of people criticize LIFO. But it is a cost flow assumption that we can use. So when we come down here to the 210 units at the end, what do we assume? We assume that the first ones are still there. Last in, first out. So what is left? This is a question of what is left. And what is left is these 100 at 9, but that's not enough. You need 210. So we go to the next layer, and the next layer we take the other 210 at $11 a piece. You again can do the math. That comes to an ending inventory of $2,110. You subtract that from the goods available for sale, $11,400, and you have a cost of goods sold of $9,290. Now, as far as periodic FIFO and periodic LIFO are concerned, that's good enough for me. If you can do what I've just shown you, as far as periodic FIFO and periodic LIFO, that's perfect. And there's nothing, at least in my mind, in these 5 slides that you cannot do. You may have to look at them once or twice, but you can do this. This is periodic FIFO, periodic LIFO. My name is Joe Hoyle. This is the University of Richmond. We're in Chapter 9. We're trying to make sure you understand everything possible about FIFO and LIFO and averaging also. This time it was FIFO periodic and LIFO periodic. Good go.